Father's Day is just 2 days away, so we've invited a couple of dads to talk about the joys of raising kids.
First, we have Paul Bialis. He's a full-time salesman, author, photographer, and a dad with 2 young boys who happen to be here in the studio with us.
Yeah, hi guys.
And then we have Keith Tozer. He's the winningest coach in professional indoor soccer history and the father to 4 kids, ranging in age from 28 to 3.5, almost 4, right?
That's right. And Keith is also here today to tell us about an exciting event this weekend, which we're going to get to a little bit later in the show. But we want to welcome you guys. Thanks. You're kind of our dad panel today.
Awesome.
Do we like this? Yeah, thanks for being here. You know, Father's Day is coming up for people. And a lot of times people say, whether it's Mother's Day or Father's Day or a holiday, a lot of times people just want to unwind. So how do you guys unwind? What do you do as dads, as men, to unwind?
Well, I think probably same as Paul, we want to be with our children. I think that's great, and just to be able to sit back and enjoy the time with them. Normally everybody's such a busy life in my household. It's just great to say, okay, this is Dad's Day. Let's be with Dad for one day. That's
cute, because a lot of moms, you know, Molly always says when it's Mother's Day, she wants the day away from the kids. So I don't know if you're saying that because there's kids here, but that's a really sweet sentiment. How about for you?
I think just time with friends and family, and you get to sit down and relax and enjoy life a little bit and not get caught up in all the speed and everything that we go through every day. That for me is really an ideal day and way to relax.
Yeah, to unwind.
Tell us about your kids. You have 2 boys.
Yeah, Randy and
James.
Right, they're 5 and 3. They have tons of energy. I'm usually just trying to keep up with them.
There they are, cute.
Yeah.
And they are waving at me right now, and they are just, they're full of energy, and they're just a ton of fun, and we go fishing together, and we just like to go for walks, and just about anything active they're up for.
So the ideal Father's Day for you is?
You know, I'm still getting used to being the father role, I feel like, because they're younger. So I still think of my father and my stepdad, and I try to do things with them. And but now to involve myself and them and the kids, I mean, that's the ideal Father's Day.
That's neat. So kind of a generational day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
How about
pretty
you,
cool.
Paul? Now, how do your kids, tell us about your children.
Or Keith.
Well, my oldest
Keith,
is 28, and my youngest is going to be 4 July 4th, so I got this big spectrum of ages. But this is going to be extra special this time because the World Cup's going on.
Right.
So the kids are going to come over to the house. We're going to barbecue because we love to barbecue, and of course watch World Cup matches on TV.
Soccer.
So it's going to be a great Father's Day for us.
I love that. What do you think you enjoy most about being a dad? Because you've kind of gone through some of the teenage years, you've gone through little ones, and you've got a little one, you've got somebody who's out on his own. What's been your favorite part of being a father in those age ranges?
Well, trying to be a role model, and then now you're trying to tell things like, make sure you get eye contact with people and shake hands firmly, and you don't know if they're going to get that, and all of a sudden they grow up older and they're telling other people to do that to other people, and then you're like, well, they really did listen to me. So, it's just great to be a role model. It's great to have, your kids say, hey, I love you, Dad, and, good well.
So you're a good dad that says the L word. You say I love you a lot.
I say I love you a lot. I text it a lot.
How about hugs?
We're a hugging family.
Good.
Oh, yeah, there's no question.
I think hugging is really important, even for dads and sons and dads and daughters. I think hugging and just showing affection, because not all families and not all dads do that.
Right.
Right?
True.
So what kind of advice, I'm curious, Keith, would you give to Paul, who has the younger kids, because you've been through the teenage, the hard years, everything. What would you say to him? I'm curious.
Well, I think the most important thing is tell them how much you love them each and every day. I think for children to know that, and unconditionally, no matter what happens, that they're there. And also, I think it's important for us because we're like coaches. The mom's the head coach and the dad's the assistant coach, and just to tell them our role is to get them through life and to teach them the things that we've learned that work, and then also to make sure they know that the things that didn't go well in our life, and they know about that. So we're kind of like coaches too.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good perspective.
There's nothing like when you get home and you open up the door handle and you start hearing your name yelled and feet are running and you're getting huge hugs. And this 3 and 5 age, I take these hugs, I don't take them lightly. They're fantastic.
They're awesome. That is a sweet age when Daddy comes home. I remember that with my husband too. They were so excited to see their dad. It's like, what about me? I'm here all day with you.
That's why they didn't run you. Yeah, they're like, old news. Do you think as you get older, you become your father more and more?
I think I see elements in myself and my father for sure. Yeah. A lot.
Are you more like your mom or more like your dad?
Boy, I have definite pieces of both.
Okay.
And I think it's the best pieces. So I'm really happy. Yeah.
How about you, Keith?
I'm emotional like my mother, but tough like my father. So
Okay.
I'm kind of like in between, but I've learned a lot from my parents. They both passed away last year, which was tough, but they were great parents and great role models.
That's a nice combination, being emotional and tough, because a lot of the times they think the mother is the one who gives the love and the emotional affection. The fathers are the tough ones who have to make everyone abide by the rules. But sometimes dads need to be the softies too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yelling and crying at the same time is a little confusing, but they understand.
Well, what do you think is the secret? This is our sound off question for the day too on Facebook. What do you think? I love how you're like, I'm passing it off right away, giving it to Paul right away. What's the secret to raising good kids? I know you've just kind of started. You've got young ones, but even I think as you can start to see how whether their manners or their etiquette or things like that start to play out, do you have any secrets?
It's just so much work, and I think when you mention the word love, to show love, it takes time, and you have to put the time into helping them understand how to make the right decisions and how to go about things in the right direction. So I try to take the time and teach them what I know, and sometimes I'm over teaching them because they're so young, but I think it's the time that you have to spend with them.
And they really model you, your wife.
Whether you want them to or not, right?
so the things that you do, I've always told my children, good gets good, bad deserves bad. So, make sure you're good to everybody, and it comes back twofold.
I like that.
Yeah. Would you say what's the hardest part about being a dad, in your experience? What is the hardest part?
Well, disciplining.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or the part you enjoy the least.
Yeah, you get, they say, don't try to be their friend, but make sure you be tough, and then soft, and so I think it's the toughest job in the world. I really do. And then what happens is, then your children go to school, and the school teachers have them more than some parents do, and it's really tough, but it's very rewarding at the end of the day.
I agree with that. The discipline is so difficult because we need them to learn, and then at my kid's age, when you discipline them, sometimes they take it so hard that you crush them by taking away their Lego figure, and then I feel bad, and I'm trying to.
But this is live. You're teaching this is live.
I need to teach the lesson, but I hate to break his heart.
Well, and I think, for men these days, they're really called to different types of roles. As you kind of mentioned, they're called to be the emotional and the tough guy all in one, where a lot of times fathers, back in the day, weren't playing both those roles. It's it's changed a lot, and for the good, truly. But, it's different. I think fathers today have to learn a different thing that maybe they weren't taught.
Yeah, a lot of times it's, don't do that, and if you do, I'm going to tell your father. It's
right.
Like, we're always the bad cop. But now, as you said, there's a lot of fathers that are stay-at-home dads and doing a lot more, and moms and dads are working full-time and equal time, so it's really kind of a balancing act to really figure out. When I was younger, there wasn't as much material out there, how to raise children and how to do that. So there are so many things out there in the internet and books and things to help us. So I encourage people to do that also.
Did either of you read What to Expect when you're expecting when your wife was pregnant?
I think we had 3 copies of that book.
Did you read it?
I never picked it up.
Did you clear a path for your wife?
We talked about that yesterday.
That's all my husband ever did when I was pregnant. He cleared a path so I wouldn't fall because our house was sometimes messy. He always had that path cleared for me. But
Men saying we're pregnant.
Feet rubbing.
Yeah, no.
I wanted to ask you, Keith, you have a 28-year-old, and you mentioned you don't want to be your kid's friend. Is there an age when it becomes okay to be your child's friend? And if so, what is that? Would you say you're friends with your 28-year-old now? Or more of a dad still?
Yeah, he was at the game last night. It was great to have him there, and obviously we're a soccer family, and that's been a big bond for us. It's... I think when they get to late teens and they start getting out of high school and they start realizing, and I think the same thing with me, is that I started appreciating my parents more when I got out of the house. So
they get cooler the older you get.
They get cool, yeah, exactly, yeah. I got real cool after they got 20, but yeah, I think after high school and when they went to college, and then they start talking to each of their friends about, my dad or my mom, and they weren't that bad. So.
Right.
All right, we're out of time, but I got to know if you can come up with one real quick. Who's your favorite TV dad? Did you have one growing up?
I'm going to think of the Little House on the Prairie guy.
Michael Landon. Charles Ingalls.
A lot of the dads are kind of projected kind of stupid, I feel, on TV these days.
Right.
I think so it's hard to think of that. So that's my one.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Did you have one?
How about Jason Weaver, Growing Pains?
Okay.
Oh, all right.
It's a good one.
He was kind of like...
Yeah.
the friend dad kind of thing.
Yep.
So.
Did you have one?
No, but I think it's funny that I mentioned to Tiffany Archie Bunker as a dad role model. And she's like, who is that?
Oh,
you don't know who Archie Bunker
who is Archie Bunker, by the way?
I didn't watch All in the Family. I knew the name. I didn't watch that show. I didn't watch it.
Thank
Sorry,
you
guys.
so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are
That was
great
fun.
dads. Perfect to kind of symbolize Father's Day. I think you embody what we want all fathers to really be these days. So that's great. Keith, you're sticking around.